Well, hey there, YouTube. It's PD Two Finger, and today I am super excited because Rob Fetters' Mother CD came in the mail. Rob Fetters, Cincinnati, Ohio, guitar player, singer, songwriter. This guy has been making music for his entire life, and he's pretty good at it now. He's been doing it for a minute, as they say. It's chilly here in Chicago. It's a Friday night. I am really looking forward to jumping into that warm bed with my significant other. A similar experience to listening to this thing for the first time. I listened to this once, and I'm making this initial impression review video talking about Rob Fetters' Mother CD. Gee, that's a big word. This is Rob's fifth solo disc. It's an 11 song affair. 10 of these songs I have never heard before. The one track 4, I did hear him play this a few times on his live stream. Fetters does home or house concerts where he has a mic stand, a couple guitars, and some technology that reproduces hi-fi backing tracks for him to be able to do his thing, sing and play guitar to these songs that he's written. And it's really, it's a one-man show, but it's awesome. It's excellent. We saw one of these house concerts, and he's been doing them on YouTube. He has a show that's called Fetters is Cheap, and that's on his channel. It's coming back in November. So you can tune in for that. Join me. I will be there making an ass out of myself in the comments section. I'm there every time that he does it. I'll be there. Usually, I think it's 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturdays. They do the Fetters is Cheap. So, Mother, you think, well, that isn't that what musicians call each other? This is a nice compliment if one musician says to the next guy, hey, you're a mother effer. That doesn't mean it's the highest compliment one musician can pay another, is saying you're a mother effer, meaning you are at the top level of musicianship. That's what it means. So you think, oh, Rob Fetters' Mother album, that means Rob Fetters is this great guitar player. No, it's not really the meaning. It isn't. It's the literal. If you look at the, Rob Fetters' Mother effer, him standing there with some smoke coming up behind him and a pile of guitars. That's this guy. He would laugh at that. He would laugh at that because that's not what he's about. He's not that type of person at all. He's a little bit more. I want to say just evolved or beyond that, but I also don't want to say that because he's flawed, and he is the first one to be honest about that type of thing. And that's one of the aspects of his music that makes it so endearing, is its bravery and its honesty, and there's no shortage on Mother. Now, I had made a video earlier hyping this release, and I had made some statement similar to, well, there's one of two ways that this is going to go. It's either going to see him do a 180 and hearken back to what he did on his first solo disc, Righty Tight, Lefty Loose, which was just an explosion of guitar pyrotechnics. It's aggressive guitar playing. At the time he was heading up this power trio called Psychodots. And this was his job. And that's what we see is mastery of the electric guitar. It's a nonstop of guitar, pyrotechnics, an assault with wound up guitar tones, and stellar emotional soloing. But it's also really hopeful and really honest songwriting, dealing with, like growing up and change conflicted spirituality, um, conflicted adulthoodism would be a good word. Now, the other path I was juxtaposing. I was predicting one of two ways that this album is gonna go is either he's gonna harken back to what he did on Righty Tight Lefty Loose, or we're gonna see more of the waters he was treading in the Musician album. Now, Fetters was a band guy, and he was recording music, they were touring, he was performing live, and then that kind of turned around, and he was working as a professional musician doing music for advertising. So it's jingles. And through that process, he wasn't necessarily just doing shredding guitar riffs. It just wasn't him with a flying V doing Eddie Van Halen. You know, he was making sincere music that requires all sorts of musicianship, all sorts of tones and sounds, besides just that one that we know and love as the distorted guitar. So Musician was kind of a surprise for me. And every album that he's released since that first one has always seen me think, my initial reaction to it, thinking, wow, it's lean on the guitar thing. But on the other hand, what you're getting in exchange is this really brave songwriting and diverse musicianship. It's a wider array of tonality. The guitars are there, and he's not going to shortchange you. He's not going to pull a bait and switch on you. There's going to be the moments of jaw-dropping guitar pyrotechnic mastery. It's there, and believe me, they're there on this. It's there, but the main course are the songs, and he does great service to these songs in his choice of the tonal palette that he chooses, the production skills, and the mixing and mastering is outstanding on this. It's a really good sounding album. The guy who did the mastering for this is kind of a big deal. It was mastered by Richard Dodd. Now, one of the things about the first Psychodots album, and that was the first album that we owned, that featured primarily Rob as the primary vocalist and guitar player, although there is strong lead and harmony vocals by RIP bandmate Chris Arducer. We just lost Chris. We just lost him on October 27th. Chris passed away, and that's like, it's kind of overshadowing this. As you know, the community of fans is still like in awe about the loss of this musician for several reasons. He was young and so vital in how his approach to life and how he played the drums. He just seemed like, he was like the youngest guy in the band, and the last thing you ever imagined was, we're going to lose Chris prematurely. But that's what happened in late September of 2023. R.I.P. Chris Arducer. That's the first Psychodots album. the production on it suffers from some tropes of that time. There's a gated reverb sound used on this album that's it's overused on the album. So it has a real specific sound to it. And I love it. It fits that album and it has that personality that I think of as that first Psychonauts album. This is much leaner and it's much there isn't any like huge cavernous reverbs or gated reverbs on this. It's much more stripped down and I'm not talking about the instrumentation. I'm talking about the use of ambient space, perceived ambience, reverb on this album. It's there, but it's just enough to pad it out and make it sound huge. But not like the guys in a dumpster at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get that effect. And a lot of times that's with home recording. That's one of the first symptoms is the guy bought a Lexicon reverb unit for $500 and he's going to make sure that everyone knows he has it. So as time passes, this guy, you know, he's been doing this a long time. This is his 5th solo album, and thank goodness I'm so thrilled that this came out today. I can't tell you when I listened to it, I was just beaming. I was absolutely beaming. I was laughing out loud and I was moved to tears, which should be expected. If you know me and how I respond to this guy's work, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. So there really aren't any surprises here. What I said, meaning you were either going to see him do a 180 and step away from using this really wide palette of sounds and go back to a more focused, like just guitar thing. Or you were going to see more of the same of what he was dancing with on Musician. Because after Musician, he did kind of go back a little bit more. It wasn't like he kept going down that brave path of expanding the sounds that he uses. It was a little bit like pulling the reins in. And then this comes out and it's like it's even more of that. To my first listen, that's what I heard. I heard this is brave musically. And I'm not talking about the emotional or lyrical content. Okay, we'll get to that because it's the same thing. On the third song, I made a comment. Boy, we're 3 tracks in and he hasn't really busted the guitar out yet. I mean, it's there and it's tasteful, but there's no like wheelies or showing off. And then track 4 comes on. Track 4 is called Trouble Was Good. This is the one song that I said I was familiar with because of his Fetters is Cheap live stream. I'm guessing when he performs his house concerts, this would be a number that he performs there as well. So Trouble Was Good is the first song on the album that has the guitars on it. It's also the first song that varies from the feminine theme. He's singing these songs are all really basically about women. There's this Trouble Was Good, and then the final track is called Ready. That's Why I Love You, Brother Mother. She makes it up, which is just a beautiful, like, if you pull She Makes It Up off of this album, and Is It Nice? There's another one on here, or Is It Always? I only listened to it once. If you subtract a couple of these songs from this album, you would almost walk away from this and think, boy, I really feel sorry for that guy. He's got a broken heart. He's probably got substance abuse issues. But it couldn't be further from the truth because he's got his act together. He's been married to the same woman. They're in love. She's great, I would say. And they've got kids, and he's happy and successful. Apparently, as happy as you can be. I mean, he's made comments about falling short of his Hollywood dream, and if you know who this guy is musically, you understand he can operate at that same level as a lot of our guitar heroes. He's that good. So maybe that's what he was shooting for. Maybe he thought, it's going to happen. You know, he's gonna have his name on that list of guitar heroes, and it didn't happen for him. So he will often, not often, but from time to time, you'll hear him reference that in his music. It's on here. It's on here. He calls himself a relic. The final track, Ready, is a pre-apocalypse piece of music. So yeah, Mother, it completely delivers. Double super two finger flying thumbs up. It doesn't get any better than this. This is going to be in high and heavy rotation here in the two finger household. I could not be more excited about absorbing this album over the next year. I wouldn't say that it's light on guitar pyrotechnics because the guitar adventure is there, and I'm telling you, it's what he has chosen to reveal on here is really spectacular. So that's exciting, but of course, for me, it's more rewarding to have a braver and a more diverse sound set, and this level of honesty and excellent musicianship and songwriting. You know, it's just as, if not more, exciting to me to be handed this than a replay of what he already did on the first one. So we're going to pop over real quick before I let you guys go. I'm going to show you exactly how you can get your own copy. You can type into the Google ROB space FETTERS, and that will take you to robfetters.net. He is going to be doing his Fetters is Cheap, which is his YouTube channel. That's returning in late November. So somewhere around turkey time, you can expect to find me in the comment section making an ass out of myself in the Fetters is Cheap live stream. You're definitely not going to want to miss that. And you can pick up your copy of Mother by clicking on the online store, robfetters.bigcartel.com. You can get your signed or unsigned copy. We got an unsigned copy. I herniated discs. I have a degenerative spinal disease. Life kind of kicked me to the curb, so we're not exactly rolling in money. And I was thrilled to see we did receive swag. There was a little something thrown in there. I'm not going to open the gatefold and reveal that and read and give away everything. I'm just going to recommend that you go ahead and spend the $15 and get your copy of Mother, because this is like album of the year material here. This is a great, great, great album from Rob Fetters, Mother 2023 release. Definitely not going to want to miss that one. So I hope wherever you are, it's not too cold. You can always jump into bed and throw an extra comforter or snuggle up with that favorite loved one of yours, which is exactly what I will be doing. I want to recommend that you do not forget to hug your pets before I leave you with the greeting of peace.